So we begin today with Shannon Sharpe actually being fired by ESPN, which is quite frankly as surprising as Jerry Jones actually dragging his feet on the Micah Parsons' new contract. Of course, Jerry Jones was going to drag his feet on the Micah Parsons contract. And of course, ESPN was going to distance itself and ultimately let Shannon Sharpe go some 2 weeks after he settled a sexual harassment lawsuit with a 19-year-old. The 54-year-old Shannon Sharpe had apparently been hanging out with a 19-year-old OnlyFans, I guess, star at this point. Anyways, that is going to be our feature story on the Nat Reports today. But before we get into that, yes, I believe Sydney Sweeney truly does have great genes. Now, I have to say, this is one of the best ad campaigns I've actually seen put out by a major brand in years. It has been a long time since I've seen a campaign like this strike such a nerve, which, of course, is the actual point of ad campaigns. Now, I'm running some video of one of her campaigns where the announcer says, or Sydney Sweeney actually says, genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue. Well, apparently my genes are actually hazel, which my parents actually passed down from me. Now, I don't understand the uproar at all about this campaign. I think it's an absolutely fantastic campaign. Loved every one of the videos that I've seen so far. And kudos to the team over at American Eagle for actually putting a campaign like this together. All right, on to our feature story of the day. I should note that Gilbert Arenas has been arrested for gambling in Encino, California, a little bit earlier in the day. More on that in the coming days. But our feature story is Shannon Sharpe being let go by ESPN. Now, this is, I guess, a sort of a big deal from a ESPN perspective, but is it really a big deal from the business of Shannon Sharpe? We know that Shannon Sharpe has two podcasts, which are, quite frankly, highly successful. Now, we know that Shannon Sharpe has also been looking to possibly move his podcast off of the volume onto another network. I'm not really sure exactly where that stands at this point, but currently he is still under contract, as far as I know, with the volume, which has proven to be an extremely successful podcast to this point. Just the YouTube numbers alone should tell you everything you need to know about Shannon Sharpe's reach. The Club Shay Shay Show has north of 4 million subscribers, and Nightcap is, I think, around 1.7 million subscribers as well. Look, it is, if you will, a very interesting time for Shannon Sharpe at this point, as he was, of course, let go by ESPN a little bit earlier in the day. And I'm sure Shannon Sharpe would have loved to have actually recovered from what went down with the lawsuit and everything that happened since it hit the public airwaves, that was actually in play from when he actually last stepped foot on a ESPN First Take set to where we are today. That being said, Americans also love comebacks. This is a story that I don't think is truly complete yet. Still, I think when we think about this particular lawsuit and the details surrounding it and a lot of the leaked audio that's actually come out, Sharpe certainly has taken a fairly significant hit, which is why, of course, it is not surprising at all that the mothership, the good folks over at ESPN and Disney, would actually part ways with Sharpe at this point. All right, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on this particular topic. Please go and drop those in when you have a chance. Just wanted to get out a super quick podcast and thought on this whole thing. Now, where does Shannon Sharpe actually go from here? Well, I think he'll ultimately keep playing in the lanes that Shannon Sharpe's actually playing in, which of course is his 2 podcast shows at this point. Now, will those shows end up on another network? Is he damaged goods at this point? Will he end up ultimately just having to go solo? Or will he stay and remain a part of The Volume and or some other podcast network that's out there? Ultimately, when it's all said and done, it is clear to me, as clear as water is wet, that Shannon Sharpe has certainly taken a significant hit in terms of where he stands at this point. It will certainly be very interesting to see how this all plays out for him in the future. Super quick, elsewhere around the world of sports, it has certainly been a interesting day for a wide variety of other people in the sports world and other things from a business perspective. We covered the NBA yesterday and how Adam Silver was actually vacationing in Europe, which was then followed up today by NBA announcing that they are actually adding European games as part of its exploratory European NBA league. So they will have actual NBA games in Europe in the upcoming season. We also had some TV ratings kick in. Both Amazon and TNT reported that they were averaging around 2.1 million viewers for each of their NASCAR races that they've had this year, and that is on average. Sophie Cunningham actually has a brand new podcast, which actually debuts today, also part of the Volume Network as well. The Browns are getting ready to break ground on some land for their new stadium, which is a $2.4 billion stadium, despite the fact that they haven't figured out all of the legal X's and O's, if you will, at this point, which is totally the way you think a Jimmy Haslam run organization would actually be run. Just look at how bad the Milwaukee Bucks have become since Haslam really truly took over that team. And finally today, the Washington Commanders are in day 2 of hearings in good old Washington, D.C. about their proposed $3.8 billion stadium. It's a stadium deal that I'm absolutely sure will ultimately get done. All right, that's it for a super quick Nat Reports today. As always, this is your sports business daily briefing. I am Dave DeBaugh, coming to you from the Silicon Valley, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.